All right, let's kick off another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at, we're going to be diving into this article all about the 2025 Triumph Rocket 3 Storm R.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and this is if you're even remotely into motorcycles, especially powerful ones, or even if you're just curious about how these sort of legendary brands reinvent themselves, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, what's cool about this is that Rocket 3 already has this reputation, right? It's known for just crazy power. So I think the big question this article is trying to answer is like, have they really redefined the power cruiser with this one?
Yeah, they say the ultimate power cruiser redefined.
Bold statement.
Very bold.
Yeah.
And speaking of bold, let's talk about this engine.
Okay. Yep.
2500cc inline 3. Most cruisers top out around, what, 1800?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So this is a big jump.
Yeah, and that translates to over 180 horsepower, which is a lot, and then just an insane amount of torque, 170 pound-feet.
Whoa.
Yeah, the article was highlighting a 0 to 60 time of 2.7 seconds. That's not just quick for a motorcycle, that's like supercar territory.
Yeah, that's getting up there.
Hmm.
Okay, so raw power isn't everything, though.
Yeah, right.
To make a bike truly great, it needs more than just a big engine.
Right.
What else did you find interesting about this Storm R?
Well, they've definitely put some thought into how to make all that power manageable.
Okay.
Like, for example, the TFT display. It's not just some fancy screen.
Right.
It's completely customizable, gives you all this control over the bike's riding modes and tons of data right there at your fingertips.
Oh, so it's not all just like brute force.
Right.
There's some finesse in there, too.
Exactly.
Now, the article also mentions a whole bunch of rider aids.
Yeah.
Did they just kind of like throw in every bell and whistle, or do these features seem well integrated?
It seems like a really deliberate package.
Okay.
So we're talking cornering ABS, traction control, hill hold control, even cruise control.
Wow.
All of that contributing to safety and just a more comfortable ride in general.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, this might sound like a dumb question, but with a bike this big and this powerful,
Yeah.
can it even handle well?
That's a fair question. It's one I had myself, actually, and it
Yeah.
seems like they've really addressed that concern. A lightweight aluminum chassis and fully adjustable Showa suspension.
Okay.
The article really emphasizes that even though it is a large bike, it's surprisingly agile.
That's good to hear. But you'd still need some pretty serious stopping power
Oh, for sure.
to rein in all that horsepower.
Right.
So did the braking system sound up to the task?
Absolutely. They went with high-performance Brembo brakes, no skimping on safety here.
Good.
They clearly want riders to feel confident even when they're going fast.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've established the Storm Hard packs a punch. It's got the tech to handle it. But how does it stack up against the competition?
Right.
The article mentioned the Ducati Diaval and the Harley-Davidson Fatboy as its main rivals.
Yeah. It's definitely positioning the Storm R as the more advanced option, technologically more powerful than both of those.
Okay.
Of course, the Diavel has that Italian flair, and the sporty handling.
Right.
And the Fat Boy has that classic Harley-Davidson appeal, so
Yeah.
it's all about what you're looking for.
Sounds like the Storm R might be going for a different rider, maybe?
Yeah, maybe someone who wants a blend of that, that classic cruiser style, but with modern technology and performance.
Okay.
The article talks a lot about Triumph's attention to detail, the craftsmanship, the design.
Yeah.
So that might appeal to a certain type of rider.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, before we get too deep into the style comparisons, let's just talk about practicality for a second.
All right.
How much is this thing going to cost if you want to put it in your garage?
Well, they're saying a starting price of around $25,000.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely a premium price point.
Yeah.
But it's in line with those competitors like the Diavel.
Okay, so not exactly an impulse buy. And what about availability? When can people actually expect to get their hands on one of these?
It sounds like an early 2025 release,
Okay.
maybe with pre-orders opening up late 2024.
Right.
So if this deep dive gets you itching to ride, you might want to start talking to your local Triumph dealer.
Yeah, you might want to get on that list. What about you? What has stood out to you so far?
I think what's really interesting is how Triumph has taken this concept of a power cruiser and really pushed it,
Yeah.
It's not just about being loud and big anymore. It's
Right.
about this whole refined riding experience backed by serious technology.
Yeah, you're right. It makes you wonder what the power cruiser of the future is going to look like.
Right.
Will it continue down this road of, even more technology, or will we see a return to something more stripped down,
Yeah.
more raw?
That's a good question.
That's a really good question, actually. Let's maybe dive into that a little bit.
Okay.
Talk about that potential future of power cruisers. So we were
Yeah.
talking about the future of these power cruisers. And honestly, with bikes like the Storm R really pushing the limits,
Hmm.
it does feel like there are some really exciting things coming.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
The motorcycle industry is always evolving, you know,
Right.
and power cruisers are no exception.
Yeah, and I think the Storm R gives us some clues,
Oh, yeah.
about where things might be going. All this technology packed into this bike. The TFT display, all the rider aids, the connectivity features.
Hmm.
It feels like that's becoming the norm now, not just a luxury.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's kind of like what we're seeing in cars too, right?
Totally.
Cars are getting smarter, more connected, so
Yep,
it makes sense that motorcycles would follow that trend.
exactly. And speaking of trends, we can't ignore the whole sustainability thing.
Right.
Do you think electric power cruisers are going to become mainstream anytime soon?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, electric powertrains, they could really change things for cruisers.
Yeah.
Imagine that instant torque,
Right.
silent operation, eco-friendly,
Yeah.
but then you have the range issue and the charging infrastructure. That's still a big problem.
Yeah, that's true. But battery tech is getting better so fast,
It
and
is.
charging networks are expanding. I mean, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if we saw electric cruisers really start to take off in the next few years.
Yeah, and then there's hybrids too, right?
Oh, yeah.
You could combine the best of both worlds.
The best of both worlds.
Electric for around town and then gas for the longer trips.
Okay, so we've got smarter cruisers, more connected, maybe even electric cruisers on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
What about the actual riding experience, though?
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to change?
Well, I think comfort and ergonomics are going to become even more important.
Okay.
Imagine electronically adjustable suspension that adapts to the road in real time,
Ooh, that would be nice.
or windshields that adjust automatically based on your speed,
That would be amazing.
and maybe even more advanced rider aids that can anticipate hazards
Yeah.
and react to them to make riding safer and more enjoyable for everyone.
Right? So it's not just about keeping you safe. It's about
Yeah.
predicting what's going to happen and helping you.
Exactly. And maybe even systems that analyze your writing style and give you personalized tips.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless when you think about it.
Yeah, it's like the bike is coaching you
Yeah.
to be a better rider.
Exactly.
That's cool. So it seems like we're moving towards this future where technology is actually enhancing the riding experience,
Yes, I think so.
not taking away from it.
Right. It's about finding that balance,
Yeah.
where tech complements the thrill of riding,
Right.
makes it more accessible, safer, more enjoyable.
I like that.
Ah,
Okay, before we get too lost in the future, though,
okay.
let's bring it back to the present.
Right.
The article also talked about the design and the styling of the Storm R.
Yes.
And I got to say, this thing looks incredible.
It does, doesn't it? Triumph has always been good at blending classic and modern elements,
Yeah.
and they've really nailed it with this one.
What stands out to you about the design?
It's how they've made it both muscular and sophisticated at the same time.
Right.
You've got that classic cruiser stance, but then these sharp, aggressive lines that give it a modern edge.
Yeah. The article mentioned a redesigned fuel tank, new LED lighting, and some really cool color options,
Oh, yeah.
like a matte black and a metallic silver.
Very nice.
And it's not just about aesthetics either.
Right.
They've really thought about the ergonomics.
Yeah, the article talked about the seat, the handlebars, the foot pegs.
Yeah.
Everything is designed for a comfortable but also in control riding position.
So it's not just about looking cool.
Right,
It's
yeah.
about feeling good while you're riding.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, the article also talked about the bike's handling and suspension.
Yeah, a bike with this much power needs to handle well.
For sure.
It's got to be stable, predictable.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the Storm R has a lightweight aluminum chassis for agility and fully adjustable Showa suspension.
Okay.
So you can tune it for spirited riding or just comfortable cruising.
So we can handle both.
Yeah, it seems like they really focused on delivering a precise, confidence-inspiring ride no matter what you're doing.
That's good. And of course, we can't forget about those Brembo brakes.
Yeah.
They're not messing around when it comes to stopping power,
Nope.
which is pretty important with a bike this powerful.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it looks great, it handles well, it stops on a dime,
Mm-hmm.
but how does it really stack up against the competition?
Yeah.
I mean, the article mentioned the Diavel and the Fat Boy, but I'm curious to hear your take on those comparisons.
Well, on paper, at least, the Storm R seems to have the edge in terms of power and technology.
Okay.
The Diavel might be more nimble,
Right.
And the Fat Boy has that Harley-Davidson swagger.
Sure.
But the Storm R seems to offer a really compelling combination of both.
It feels like Triumph is trying to carve out their own space in this power cruiser world,
Yeah.
you know, appealing to riders who want something different.
Yeah, like something more than just like a classic cruiser or a sporty muscle bike.
Yep. Exactly. They're offering this blend of heritage and performance and technology.
Hmm.
It feels pretty unique.
It does.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here.
Yeah, we have.
From the engine to the tech, the design, the handling competition.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, it all comes down to one question.
Okay, what's that?
Is it worth the price?
Yes. The big question.
Yeah.
$25,000 is a lot of money.
It's a big investment for sure.
It is.
But for the type of rider this bike is aimed at,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's a good value?
That's a tough one. I mean, you're definitely getting a lot of motorcycle for your money.
Right.
The tech, the craftsmanship, the performance, it's all top notch.
Yeah.
But it really depends on what you're looking for, you know?
I guess it comes down to priorities.
Yeah. Some people might want the Harley Davidson name
Yeah.
or that raw sportiness of a Ducati.
But for someone who wants a bike that's really pushing the boundaries of power and technology,
Mm-hmm.
but still offers a comfortable and stylish ride,
Yeah,
the Stormar might be the perfect fit.
it might be.
All right. So we've established that this thing is a contender.
Mm-hmm.
But before we wrap things up, I want to dig a little deeper into the riding experience.
Okay.
What did the articles say about what it's actually like to ride this beast? So we were just talking about, how the Stormar stacks up on paper and all.
Right.
But, for me, it's that feeling,
Yeah.
when you're actually riding it.
The experience.
The experience, yeah. What did they say about what it's actually like to ride this thing?
Well, they actually talked quite a bit about the different riding modes.
Okay.
You've got your standard rain, road, and sport.
Yeah.
Each one tailored for different conditions and riding styles.
Right. Those are pretty common these days.
Yeah.
Did anything stand out to you about how they implemented them on the Stormar?
What really caught my eye was the level of customization,
Okay.
particularly with the rider custom mode.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually fine-tune the throttle response and the traction control. You can really dial in the bike's feel to exactly how you like it.
Oh, so it's not just picking a preset.
Yeah.
You can really personalize it.
Exactly.
I bet that's pretty satisfying.
Oh, yeah, especially for experienced riders.
Yeah.
Gives you that real sense of connection with the machine.
Right, like you're in control.
Exactly. And speaking of connection, they described the exhaust note
Ooh,
as this deep, throaty roar
nice.
that turns heads.
I bet that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, not something you want to fire up early in the morning.
Right. Definitely not trying to wake the neighbors with this one.
Exactly. But yeah, it definitely adds to that visceral experience.
For sure. But it can't all be about noise and power.
Right.
Did they mention how it is in like everyday situations?
Yeah, actually, they said that it's designed to be just as enjoyable in real-world conditions
Wow.
as it is on the open road.
Oh, hey.
They talked about it being surprisingly nimble in silly traffic.
Really?
Yeah, and then effortless power for overtaking on the highway.
Okay, so it's not just a one-trick pony.
No, it sounds like they really aimed for a well-rounded machine.
Yeah, like something you can actually live with.
Right, exactly. A bike that's meant to be ridden.
Yeah, not just looked at.
Exactly. I think that says a lot about Triumph, you know?
Yeah,
They get what riders want.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything.
I think so.
With the 2025 Triumph Rocket 3 Stormar, we've looked at the specs, the design, the tech, the competition,
Mm-hmm.
even what it might actually feel like to ride the thing.
Yeah, it's been a good deep dive.
It has. So as we wrap this up, any final thoughts on this this beast of a machine?
I think for me, it really shows how much power cruisers have evolved.
Okay.
It's not just about brute force anymore.
Yeah.
It's this whole sophisticated package of power and technology and style.
Mhm.
Triumph has really pushed the boundaries here, and I think it's going to appeal to a lot of riders.
Yeah, anyone who's looking for something truly special.
Exactly.
I think you're right. It's obvious that Triumph put a lot of passion into this thing.
Yeah, a lot of innovation.
Yeah, and it really shows,
Mm-hmm.
they created a machine that's not just powerful, but also intelligent, refined,
Yeah,
and just undeniably exciting.
for sure.
But, we've talked a lot about the motorcycle itself.
Right.
But what about the rider?
Ooh.
How do you think bikes like this
Yeah.
are going to change the way we experience the open road in the future?
That's a good question.
That's something I'm going to be thinking about
Yeah.
as we ride into the future.
Yeah.
But until next time, ride safe and keep exploring.